Hello everybody, how's it going? Screezilla here, and I hope you're all well, and welcome to, well, my newest plane. That is the J32 Lansen, or Lance. A transonic military aircraft, designed by Saab, surprisingly enough. I know it's weird, isn't it? Something Swedish designed by Saab. How bizarre. Designed back in the early 50s, eventually taking and joining the Flygervampant in about 56, I think, 56, 57, becoming operational, and then operational until all the way until 1997. Yeah, the J32, a pretty cool jet. Now, this is pretty much a sort of long-range interceptor, reconnaissance, attacker, fighter, bit of all-rounder, electronic warfare platform. It does a bit of everything. This thing is a multi-role plane in its design, and it's a very cool plane as well. It was designed to replace the B-18s, unfortunately. Oh, B-18s, we will miss you. And the de Havilland Mosquitoes as well, that the Swedish Air Force were using. The aircraft was intended to be powered by a twin set of de Havilland Ghost engines, but Saab settled on a single engine in the end, the Rolls-Royce Avon series of jet engines in the end, because at this time jet engines were constantly improving, getting better and better and better and better and better, and you know, it came to the point where, well, you know, we don't need two engines to deliver the same power as one engine anymore. So it got to that stage, and that's what happened. The aircraft was sort of started on paper back in the late 40s, and, well, the best way to describe this plane is Messerschmitt soup. This plane is basically I wouldn't say copy, but it's a flourish on the design of the Messerschmitt. Now, brace yourselves here. The Messerschmitt P1101, the P1110, the P111, and the P112. A vast array of different Messerschmitt jets that were developed late war. Of course, the P1101 would go on to become the Sabre. If you look at it, it's very much a Sabre. The P1111 would go on to sort of form a lot of Delta Wings, along with the P112. It sort of went on to sort of start going towards things like the Draken. But the P1110 is really where we get the look of the Lansen from. If you look at the two planes, they look very similar. A very similar design, swept-back wings, similar nose, in fact, very similar nose, very similar looking planes. The Messerschmitt was going to be much smaller, of course. It was going to be a very different plane, but it was still going to be very similar. Now, the Lansen is a very quick aircraft because you've got a afterburner on you, so you can get up to that sort of just about hitting supersonic speed, and you know, get up to it very quickly. This thing's got a ton of thrust behind it, and it can really go when you need it to. The downside, though, is it's quite heavy and big, similar to things like the Phantom. You know, it's quite a big plane. It's quite a chunky plane. It's not a small boy, and also it doesn't have a huge amount of cannon rounds either. You've got 4 Aiden cannons in the SNOS, and they do help out an awful lot. I mean, having those 4 guns in the front do really help out. I think you've got about 150 rounds per gun, though, so it's not many rounds, but the center of mass is fantastic. You've got a fantastic center of mass hit, so you can really do damage when they actually do go into a plane. And of course, the Aidens are pretty damn good. So we've got our first CL here. We're going to take a little switch, actually get a hit, but nothing else, and we're going to overshoot. G91, we've got an F86, we've got lots of planes. We're in a very very dangerous situation. We're in a lot of planes, a lot of attacks going on right now. So we're also on the defensive as well because there's a CL behind us. Now we've got another Sabre here that's going in a straight line. Hello, you look to be nice and juicy. We fire off a shot, miss, fire off some more shots, get some hits, and good night, Sabre, my first kill. Now, this is also my first match in the Lansen as well. So, yes, getting used to it. Now, we do get a hit from a 50 cal from one of the Sabres, but just on our wingtip, we're okay. Everything's fine. This plane's pretty beefy. Now we've got to start running because there's a Sabre on our tail. And this is where that afterburner comes in. Now, the CL is pretty damn fast, as you all know. But it's not as fast as a Lansen. The Lansen is, at this BR range, one of the fastest jets there is. Its main helping point, obviously, is that afterburner. It really helps it out. So we take a quick shot here at an AA post, get a little kill. Being my first match, I didn't expect to live very long, because I'm still getting used to the plane. I'm not used to exactly how it handles, how it performs. So it's very much that thing of, you know, how is this going to go? We've got one kill. I'm very happy with that. But let's see if we can get two. We've got G91YS here. Again, a very speedy plane. It's got the afterburner system to it as well. But it's a much better turner than the Lansen. Obviously, as I say, this thing is pretty heavy. It's pretty big. It's twin-seater as well, which makes it quite chunky, all in all. Now we're using our radar lock-on here, trying to help out with the guns, and then we lock onto a friendly, of course. Coming in on that G91, but we just can't get on its 6, and it's just, you can just see the difference in handling here. That G91 is just so much more agile than us, and we're going to turn out of that. There's a Hunter running away from us. Okay, let's go and have a little look-see at this Hunter, see what's going on there. G91 takes out one of our Sabres. This Hunter looks to be RTB, so okay, we're going to disengage from that. I think we'll probably lose away. And as you can see, we're just getting up to the 700 mile per hour mark. You know, we're starting to knock on the door of the supersonic speeds right here. We're at Mach 0.9 at the moment. So we're not quite there, but we're getting up there. And as I say, this is stock, so there's no upgrades whatsoever on this plane. So we are very much enjoying stock syndrome. Now, I noticed the Hunter's going into land. We're down to about a 3-on-3 situation now, I think. Let's just have a quick look. Yep, 3-on-3. So we're very much 3-on-3 situation right now. There's the G91, I think there's a Sabre, and there is that Hunter. So I've decided I'm going to go for the Hunter. We get nice and low here, so not to get spotted as we come over the horizon. Also to avoid any anti-aircraft contact as well, because obviously that can be quite dangerous. So we're going to thrust along here and knocking on 700 miles per hour. And that Hunter has just touched down, stopping in position. That is going to be an easy kill. A bit of a scummy kill here on the airfield, and I did apologise. I'm you know, I don't like doing that because it's just such a, always to me, such a scummy kill. But being a stock plane, I don't have as much hatred towards it as I would normally do. So we're now down to a 2-on-1 situation, and the G91YS is shot down. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. That is the match. We have got the win, and yeah, let's return back to the hangar and see what rewards we got from that match. Okay, and that was the first match in the Lansen, the J32B. Sorry, excuse me. Probably could cut that out, but you know, that would involve work. So, first game, first place, pretty good. 2 kills, pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Not a bad match. A cheap kill on the airfield, I'm sorry, Hunter. Kind of needed that because, you know, stock plane syndrome. Yay! With that, of course, we made 9,000 RP, which made us a tiny amount into the fuselage. Yay! And gave us a little bit more towards the J29B, the attacker variant of the Tuner. So, all in all, I've got good things to say about this plane. It's quite good. Obviously, it's stock, so it's going to get better from here. But at stock, I'm not too unhappy about that. We managed to counter a CL Of course, we were top tier in that match, which did help an awful lot. I can see this really not being that fun when we're facing top tier jets. So yeah, that's not going to be as fun. We did end up with the Avenger award, so okay, it's kind of good. Nice amount of lions as well, which is going to help because yeah, spent a lot of lions getting this. Obviously, it's an expensive little plane. Let's just return to hangar and just have a quick look at this. So as mentioned before, this is basically the unholy love child of all the Messerschmitt designs after the after the Second World War. So basically, it's based off the Messerschmitt P1101, 1110, 1111, and 1112. You find very similar sort of design patterns in the this plane, really, in this vehicle, in this weapon system. There are many similar design efforts. In all honesty, I would say it's more like the P1110, which is a very similar looking plane, although it does have a split V tail section to it rather than the more traditional tail sections we see here. But the swept back wings, everything like that. This plane was so ahead of its time as well. You know, like the J35 is, you know, it's a very advanced plane. You know, 3rd of November of 1951, introduction 56, retired 97. You know, it's one of those planes that is extremely advanced for the time period. You know, this thing came out and it's just like, whoa. You know, this is coming around at the same time as, you know, well, the CL and the Hunters and some of the later Vampire and Venom variants and all these other jets that are coming out at the time. And this is just a huge leap forward. Swept back wings, afterburners, relatively large cockpit. You know, it's a bit like a P-80 Shooting Star crossed with a F-4 Phantom in its sort of design. If we look in the Eternals, you know, giant, huge engine in the back. It does give a nice little boost, nice little thrust. Sorry, decent fuel tank arrangement. Of course, you've got the gunner and you've got pilot and co-pilot. So you have your secondary aid. You have your electronic warfare systems. It's got such a vast array of electronic warfare suites. It's just unbelievable. The radar in the nose is very good. The fact it's got 4 Aidens in the front, you know, again, very, very good. Yeah, the plane is an absolute beast. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually, you know, I'm enjoying the plane. It's interesting. This of course was the all-weather fighter version, designed to fly in all weathers, bad weather, whatever. It had the Rolls-Royce Avon engine in it, I think it was, redesigned under the Swedish name. And of course you do get sidewinders with this plane too, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I've got to say, it's very, very cool. There was a day fighter variant as well, which lacked the radar, but it had an extra quad set of Hispanos in the nose, where the radar section would go, and it would actually have little flaps that pop open to shoot them. Would have been cool. Could be a cool little plane as a, well, as another Swedish premium maybe, or even as a plane to come into the tech tree as a sort of, that's cool, that's slightly different. I mean, it was a prototype, so none were made. I think it was the D variant, and they ended up using the Hunter or something like that for it. But yeah, there are some very cool planes out there. It's just, yeah, I like it. I must say I do like it. And of course, this leaves me nice and open for the next patch for the Draken when it comes out. Gives me a nice little opening to get the Draken. Now I just need all the money in the world to get it. But with games like that, that's not going to be too hard. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again. Bye bye.